Hi, Gemini Risings and Gemini Suns. Thanks for joining me for your July 2019 horoscope. Let's have a look, shall we? It's been a pretty busy month for you, probably in June, as the sun was moving through your first house. You're probably out there feeling yourself, kind of redefining your personality, redefining your identity, sharing yourself with the world, and also like honing in on number one. So it's been a really kind of highly packed June for you. July has some other fun things in store. The shift kind of moves a little more away from your personality and your self expression and your physical body um, towards your kind of financial situation, your kind of financial awareness, and your kind of values, yourself, and what you kind of value out in the world. Yeah, that's kind of taking the spotlight right now for you, especially as the eclipses are here. And eclipses kind of tend to be highly charged and emotional and got a lot of activity around them. So tomorrow on July 2nd, we have the new moon solar eclipse happening in your second house. So new moons, always are kind of this new story, right? We're kind of planting the seed, as they say, exhaustingly so. And because it's a solar eclipse, it's action oriented and it's almost supercharged. It's like a supercharged new moon. It's got a lot of energy. So there's like a big story happening, and it's the beginning of this series. So here we go. And for you, that's in your second house of, what do I value in myself? What are my natural talents and abilities? My inherent resources. It's the individual's resources in the second house. So because it's a solar eclipse, there could be some event around your money situation. You could get money, lose money. It's, who knows? It could be more just about your kind of financial awareness at this time. You could be kind of like taking on a new way of budgeting, spending, saving, kind of just focusing on your ins and outs of your kind of bank account right now. And so that takes like a precedence right now. And it's because it's a new moon. It's it's the beginning of it. It's the beginning of that story. It may not be immediate, but it's something is kind of stirring within you to start taking care of the bank in a little bit of a different way. So that's tomorrow on July 2nd. And like I said, the solar eclipse tends to be the more action-oriented of the two, whereas the lunar eclipse tends to be the more emotional one. So the full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn is occurring on July 16th in your 8th house. Now, full moons are full moons. They're full of culmination. They're full of illumination and revelation. So when it's an eclipsed lunation like this, it's a little more intense. It's a little more emotionally provocative, right? And so for you, this kind of illumination is shining into your 8th house of shared resources with a partner. It's shining into this area regarding our compulsions, our phobias, our obsessions, our kind of connection to intimacy, sex, and vulnerability in relationship as well. Because that's when we're sharing our resources in our 8th house, opposed to our 2nd house, which is like, what do I value? What do I have? And our 8th house is what do I share with? What do we share together? How do we cooperate together? So there could be some pretty emotional events happening for you psychologically. You could be like feeling really aware of your own mortality at this time, because the 8th house has to do with like awareness of death and all this stuff. It doesn't have to be like a death is occurring around you or something, but it could just be like, whoa, just like a profound awareness of, that we're not here forever. And it could also be because the 8th house has to do with, like I said, sex and kind of our relationship to intimacy sometimes. It could be a relationship story as well. You could be really aware of the kind of ins and outs in your relationship that are or are not working, or where you are not honest enough or authentic enough in your relationship, and how you can kind of strengthen those ties in your partnership. And 8th house topics tend to be a little scary, right? They're kind of dark and taboo, and like, you're kind of going there, and it's intense. But it's like, it's worth kind of checking out, I think. And the full moon lunar eclipse in Cap is like, just like highly charged, highly emotional. And since it's Capricorn, sometimes you can feel like a little, I don't know, kind of like defeated or down on yourself, or not up to par or where you want to be. And it can feel like a little bit of a downer, I think. But it's okay. It's going to be fine. It's just like emotionally riding it out. So that's kind of the eclipse story. It's very much financial. It's about your shared resources with a partner, if you have one, your own individual resources, an awareness of your own values versus what you kind of value in your relationship. as well as kind of deep diving into mortality and sex and like psychological functions. You're kind of more dark parts of your psyche. You may be feeling more in the mid-month. You're like, whoa, kind of strong awareness of like what's going on for you really beneath the surface that needs to be addressed. I always think of the 8th house as like my therapy house. I'm like, oh God, every time I'm in my 8th house, I'm like, therapy. So you may be feeling my therapy vibes come mid-month. So, not the end of the world. You're going to be good. Just reassess and allow a lot of room and flexibility in your schedule as events, like I said, come in and out. The emotions run really high. It could be new things. There could be things ending. Just kind of roll with it. So that's kind of the eclipse story. Other than that, we have Mercury retrograde on July 7th, who will be in Leo at that time. So for you, you're going to be like, ooh, you know, 3rd house. Mercury likes being there. And in Leo, it's a little more fun. It's a little more playful. There's like a desire to self-express. You're going to be like open about your emotions. And then when it dips back into Cancer, it's going to be like, oh, private realm. You're going to be feeling very introspective. Mercury retrograde in a water sign is intuitive, insular, you know, just highly introspective and not so good at talking. When Mercury's in Cancer, there's like just the voice weakens as a crab has no vocal cords. And, you know, it's like, it's hard to express because it's feelings. You can't, you know, Mercury is for the rational mind, not for the emotional body. So just be attentive to your kind of awareness of self during Mercury retrograde this time. I don't think it's going to be as like action oriented or like computery this go around, as Mercury in a water sign tends to just be like much more intuitively based and like private and emotional, like I was kind of just saying. And for you, that's happening in your 2nd house again. So it may be kind of this awareness of money. It could be this awareness of your values, how you're feeling about yourself. You're kind of checking in on like, how much do I value myself right now? How do I feel about myself? Kind of just testing the waters a little bit. So feel that out, feel that out. Money, sex, death, it's all on the table. Fun stuff. So that's what's going on. So then end of the month, new moon in Leo on July 31st. That is going to be a little bit of a brighter note. That's when you're going to be kind of developing a little bit more of a narrative around your self-expression and connecting to your community, your neighborhood, talking to your siblings if you have some, working on writing, taking a class, educating yourself in some new capacity. That's going to be where your mind goes towards end of month. But we have a ways to get till, you know, until we get to there. So kind of just keep moving through the emotions, but process them, listen to them, because if you can process them and listen to what your mind is saying now or what you're kind of feeling, this new moon in your 3rd house at the end of the month, it's going to like really give you some great material to kind of write from. If you want to like journal or kind of express yourself or like blog or whatever, just even write a post on Instagram, you're going to be feeling like, you know, we're going through this, and you're going to have great thoughts to kind of share and reflect on. So keep on keeping on. All right, Gemini risings, have a great month of July. Be in touch.